Hello, my name is Christopher Vu, and on behalf of me, Gavin Kavita, and Angabatra, we are submitting EcoTracker for the 2023 Congressional App Challenge. So, this is the GitHub repository for our project. As you can see, it's a web-based carbon footprint calculator that allows you to quantify your carbon footprint, as well as compare it to other people at your income level and measure your improvement or your regression over time. And also, it gives you tasks in order to help you reduce your carbon footprint. So at the moment, this website is not hosted publicly, so you can't just click on a link and go to it. So if you want to access the website on your own machine, you're going to have to clone the repository onto your computer, install the dependencies, which is SQLite and Flask, and then you just run the main.py file and click on the link that it tells you to go to, and then you can check out the website, play with it yourself. But for the time being, I'm going to give you a demonstration. So I'm going to go to the main.py file and just run it. It's going to take a moment and it's going to give me a link. I'm going to click on that. And here it is. This is EcoTracker. It says right here, made for the Congressional App Challenge. And on the landing page here, we have a little spiel about why we made this application and what it does. So the problem, you can probably tell from the name, but we are combating climate change. So in order to reduce climate change, because we've been experiencing a lot of heat wave, natural disasters, rising sea levels in the past couple of months, in the past couple of years really, we have to reduce all of our individual carbon footprints to ensure that the greenhouse gas emissions that we emit is low. And obviously it says here that climate change can lead to permanent shifts in weather patterns, trap heat in the atmosphere, just really a rundown of what climate change is. And right here we have what we are doing for it, the solution. So our solution is to create a website that will accurately quantify carbon footprints and also compare it to others and measure your improvement or regression over time. So using our carbon calculator, you can determine how much any particular carbon emitting activity damages our environment, or just figure out how much you're emitting from that particular activity. We're going to track your emissions. You can log it and like store data so that you could see how you're doing in the past compared to how you're doing now. And you also get tasks to help you reduce your carbon footprint. So what is our goal? This is really just a summary of what we have to do in order to prevent adverse effects of climate change. It says here the IPCC wants us to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels, which means reaching net zero by 2050. And it says here that the average carbon footprint per person in the US is 16 tons per year. So that's very high. And down here at the bottom, we have a contact section. Pretty self-explanatory. This is my email, but if you have any questions, you can email one of my partners as well. The GitHub is right here. We got sources. I will talk to you about that at the end. So we're going to, this is basically just the calculator tab. Reduce your emissions. Sorry about that. I'm actually going to log out just for demonstration purposes. But first, I'm going to show you the calculator. So right here, we have the carbon footprint calculator. I'll show you what these other tabs do in the future, or in a moment. So we have a bunch of little tabs here, and we plug them all into an equation that we came up with in order to figure out what your carbon footprint was for whatever data collection period that you enter. So this is just personal information used to compare your emissions to other households like yours, so that it's it's comparative to people that are at your income level. So let's say 4 people live in the household. Let's say your income is like 150,000. Let's say the data collection period is 30 days. So that means that all the data you entered is, based on the past 30 days of spending. And I'm just going to enter a bunch of random numbers here. We have a couple of fun facts here just to give you a little bit of information on how we calculate the numbers. So let's say you spend 300 on clothing, 400 on electronics, 500 on furniture, and let's say like 300 on other goods. Let's say you've eaten 70 kilograms of beef, 60 kilograms of other meat, and 150 kilograms of other food. Let's say you spend $60 on water, and let's say it costs a tenth of 2 cents, or 2/10 of a cent rather, per gallon. Let's say you spend $70 on electricity at 5 cents per kilowatt hour, and let's say 30% of it comes from clean energy. Let's say you don't drive diesel, you've driven 250 miles on a gasoline vehicle at 27 miles per gallon, and you've flown for 2 hours in the past 30 days. So So these are just example numbers, of course. You could put anything you want in here, and it will compare it, and let's click submit, and it will give you the results. So it says here your carbon footprint is 9.76 tons of CO2 equivalent for the past 31 days, whatever time you put in. And based on your data collection period, we extrapolate, that's 118.75 tons per year. And it will give you how you compare based on the average. And that's not average, just average carbon footprint, but the average carbon footprint for the amount of people in your household and for your income level. So these are the emission sources in a pie chart here. And the goods are, well, oh, sorry. This section is dedicated to which part of your carbon emissions create the most emissions. So right here, it tells us that goods, as you can see here, we're the largest contributor to our carbon emissions, and it gives you a little tip on how you can reduce that. So as you can see, all the other tabs here, let's say the logger, you need to sign up for. The sign up system is here, but I'm just gonna log in. I have a dummy account prepared. So let's log in. Sorry about that. That was the wrong one. Okay, here we are. And now we have access to the logger. Now the logger is the exact same thing as the calculator, except obviously you're logged in now, so you could store all of your data. And I'm not going to go through the process again, but all the information from all of your previous data entries are stored here. So these are just 3 that are created like theoretically. As you can see, it'll show you your total carbon footprint, your theoretical yearly footprint if you extrapolate it out, better or worse than average, etc. All that good information that you saw in the calculator tab. But because you're able to store multiple data points over time, we've also created a statistics tab. So here in the statistics tab, you can see statistics about your carbon emissions over time and obviously your aggregate data. So this is just a quick spiel about what the statistics section is about. Right here we have your emission sources, so goods, transport, energy, etc. Based on all those data entries that I put in before I recorded this. They're just example data entries. And over here you could see a graph of your emissions over time, as well as this average line. Everything in the green here is below average, and everything in the red here is above average. So that's really cool. You can compare yourself to other people at your income level over time. This is pretty self-explanatory. It's just the same thing, but it's a bar graph where it shows each of your emission sources. And this is also, essentially the same thing, except you see how much each part of your emissions have contributed to your total output. So as you can see, just based on my hypothetical numbers, goods have consistently been the most damaging consumer product that I've been emitting from. And obviously we have this, we have the same thing here. It just says goods, the biggest contributor to your emissions. And that's the whole statistics tab. So the last thing is tasks. This one is pretty self-explanatory. Every day it will reload and it will give you 7 tasks that you could do that day to reduce your emissions. So take a break from social media and TV, for example, lower your thermostat by 2 degrees, use a bamboo toothbrush, reduce, etc., etc. You get the idea. And finally, I just wanted to show you the sources tab. So the sources tab is pretty simple. You can have a look here. It's essentially just all the different resources that we have used, that we have pulled numbers from in order to create our equations that we use to calculate your carbon footprint. So that is it for EcoTracker. Thank you for your time. Yeah, thank you.